Yeah, well, the first one is definitely the 4-hour work week one. That was when I realized that like time and money don't have to be linearly connected. Then I'm trying to think. I really had a good mindset shift after the book tour. Like when you take that many months off from the stuff you're doing, like I basically put a pause on the blog. The podcast, we had pre-recorded a bunch of episodes, so that was still going, but like I really got to take a step outside of my businesses and then refocus on the highest ROI things. So I was doing so many things. Like I'd spend 3 hours doing something that literally had no positive impact on my business just because I either like thought it looked good or I thought it would have some kind of impact. But I feel like a lot of people do that too. Like you get so trapped in the day to day of your business that you never take that step back and realize like, am I heading in the right direction? Like if you, for example, were just to make a bunch, like you spend so much time on a YouTube video, you spent like 20 hours creating this 5-minute video, and then you have like 1,000 people watch it. Like the ROI is probably not there for you. But if you can identify those things that obviously everyone listening and watching, it might be different for you. But if you can identify like those 3 or 5 big things that are going to move your business forward, that's when you can really start to get ahead. So I had a huge shift in mindset and priorities after that book tour when I kind of recalibrated myself.
So what did you do after that? How did you implement?
Started building systems and hiring VAs for stuff that wasn't worth my time or that I could have a much higher ROI doing something else. So for example, like I'm super frugal, and so I'd hate spending money on even like software. A $10 a month software that would make my life so much easier. I would find the workaround that would take me, even if it was like 10 more minutes every time I did that task, just because I didn't want to pay that $10 per month thing. And now I've gotten over that, and it has just made my businesses, one, grow, and two, just made my life so much easier, and I do not have to work as hard and as long on certain things.
Cody, yeah, me too, man. Because it's like, oh, I could figure out a free way to do this, and why don't I just spend 20 hours trying to figure out how to like code this weird thing that's not
Yeah.
supposed to integrate? So did you use like Zapier or something like that? Or what are some specific tools that you're paying for now?
Oh yeah, okay, perfect. So I love Zapier. I do have the paid version of Zapier, and that just like that makes my life so much easier. I can have forms that automatically put people with certain tags in my email list. I can have people get sent an email once they opt into something. Like I love Zapier. ConvertKit is another one that's absolutely huge. I was trying to do everything for free on MailerLite, and it's just not quite as functional as ConvertKit. ConvertKit has just so much more optionality, and the tagging is superb, and you can like put people through year-long funnels if you want to. So ConvertKit's another big one. Canva Pro, I do a lot of like graphic design type stuff, especially with now that I have the Etsy shop going. So that was another one that I didn't want to really invest in, but I'm like, you know what? It's so much better than just the free version of Canva. What else do I use? QuickBooks, that's another one that I was just like, I'd only use an Excel sheet to do all my accounting, and QuickBooks has made that process so much better. And like I used to spend so many hours going through and trying to figure out my taxes, and now it's just like basically the export button.
Wow. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, and once you start, getting money in, it obviously it feels a little more comfortable, so you're not going in the hole or anything
Yeah.
like that, which as a frugal dude, you probably wouldn't be doing that anyway. So,
Yeah.
all right, cool. And I know you're big time into health and fitness and stuff like that. And you fed me something you sort of wanted me to ask you about, which I think it's great because I'm sort of, I try to be healthy, but I actually drink a lot of beer. I'm a home brewer. So I drink a lot of beer, like my alcohol. But how does health and personal finance like fit together for you personally?
Yeah. Well, first of all, Doug, you look like a fit guy. So I don't know if you shouldn't be bashing yourself, but I think there's so many similarities or parallels you can draw between personal finance and health and wellness. And like for five, for example, like a lot of people don't want to go through it is hard work at first to kind of rewire like your spending. Because if you're, the big thing about five is just like spend less than what you make and invest the rest. That's if you had to boil it down to one sentence, that's pretty much what financial independence is all about. And it's kind of the same thing with like eating and dieting. Like it might suck for the first week if you all you do is eat junk food and you don't monitor the things you're eating. You're eating a ton of simple carbs and processed foods and sugar and stuff. Yeah, that first week's gonna suck. Maybe even the first 2 weeks will suck. But once you kind of rewire the way your brain thinks and you're like, okay, this healthy food's actually pretty good. It just takes that one little shift, and then the rest of your life will be so much better. It's the same thing with money. Like you could be living paycheck to paycheck, and if you do have the margin, if the reason why you're living paycheck to paycheck is because you're spending on frivolous things, and then you cut those things out and realize like, hey, my time is a lot more important than my money. It just takes that little mindset shift that might take a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, and then your whole life is absolutely transformed after that. So when people ask me like about financial independence, I always try to draw that parallel between like health and wealth. I think it's a really good one to draw.
Interesting. And have you read the book called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg?
I have.
So early in the book, and I haven't read it in probably 18 months or something. I need to reread it again, but there is the concept of the Keystone habit. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but if people go to the gym and work out, even if it's a terrible workout and they just walk in the door, put their bag in the locker and then walk around and then go home after that, it's better, and they end up being more disciplined and they spend better, their personal finance improves, and just everything like gets better if they can like basically delay gratification. Like the whole thing is delayed gratification. So I definitely think it goes hand in hand, and it's hard. It sucks when you're thinking about food. I intermittent fast pretty often, which
Me
I
too.
think that helps a lot. Do you find like mental benefits as well?
A little bit. I definitely have more clarity, I think, when I don't know. It's definitely helps just like fine tune my body and mind, as corny as that might sound.
Yeah. Like, how often do you do it? Like, what's your protocol? There's a lot of different approaches.
Yeah, I do it every day, so I don't start eating till noon every single day, and I usually try to cut off at 6. I try to do a 6-hour eating window. I cheat on the weekends, absolutely, because I drink pretty much every Friday and Saturday, and then drinking leads to eating not so good food. So those are my cheat days. But on
Okay.
the good days, on normal days of the week, I'm typically eating in a 6-hour window and eating a really clean diet.
Okay. And do you have any social issues, like you want to hang out with some other friends and go to trivia on, say, a Wednesday night? Is it kind of weird where you're like, you know what? I'm stopping eating, I'm not drinking anything, and you're just like drinking water? Or are you able to like tailor it pretty well to exactly how you want to, handle your social life?
Yeah, I'm definitely pretty flexible. I'm definitely like an 80-20 guy. Like if it's gonna impact my social life, like I like going out, and for your example, like I'd go out and on a Wednesday night and go to trivia at 8 o'clock and have a couple beers. Like that's fine. As long as I'm like good 80% of the time, I can screw around the other 20% of the time. I'm a big believer in that. I really don't think if I were someone and if I were feeling like restricted in any way, shape, or form or unhappy, then I wouldn't want to be doing this. But it's fun and I'm feeling good about myself and I'm still enjoying myself when I want to.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I end up doing that too. Just, you want to go out and hang out, and I like to try new beers and all that stuff. And there's plenty of breweries around here. So